everybody, and welcome to the Sonic Boom Commentaries, where hopefully everything's all right this week. Yeah,
Sonic Buffer.
Yes, yeah. Welcome to the Buffer Show.
Buffer Show.
Yeah, apologies for last week. It was mainly due to the fact that I, in my wisdom, which I actually mentioned on the show, on the pre-show, there was an error in the pre-show that I'd rendered beforehand, and I was like, okay, I want to get the pre-show out for everybody because everyone's excited and waiting for it, and I'll work really hard and get it done, and I set it rendering, and then I started recording this, and it turns out that my PC really did not appreciate that. Asking it to render a thing and record a thing at the same time. So naturally enough, we ended in the situation where there were interruptions. So, and it was a bit like that. There was no typing involved. That's just Kat because she's dealing with something at the moment. But apart from that, we are here. It is we three kings of Sonic are. One from America, one from afar. In fact,
yep.
Both the American one and the one from afar are Donnie. So,
hi
Donnie.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right. It's been quite a week. One thing or another. I've worked till midnight, if not past it, on most days this week.
We found out about We found out about the Portal table in Pinball FX2, and we were all happy.
That cheered. That was the bright point in my day. I've not played pinball in about 2 or 3 weeks now, just because I've just worked.
Yeah.
I will need to play some later, and hope my PC is working a bit better than it was. And what have you been up to in this last week?
The usual. Been doing TSSC articles. Been prepping myself for the halfway point of the show next week. Sega Sammy's doing they're putting out their fiscal year report on Monday, so gotta prepare for the news coverage on that.
Everyone prepared to be horrified.
Yes.
Basically.
Boy. And of course pre-E3 hype.
Pre-free.
Pre-3, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that immensely this year. Oh God, heaven help me.
I feel bad for the people that are going to do bingo cards. They're trying to figure out how to do all these conferences, and there are too many conferences.
I'm not sure if LMC will do the bingo this year or not. It really depends whether or not I've got time. I don't know.
Things are different now compared to last year.
I'm just mortified at the sheer ridiculousness. How long's E3 last? How many days?
E3 normally lasts 3 days, like the expo doors and stuff. But considering there's gonna be an extra 2-3 days of conferences, the way it's looking, it's gonna be like a whole week, like literally a week this time. Just E3.
This is worrying. Mainly because at this present time, I know the other 2 members of the site that I work on are going to E3, so they'll be at E3 doing things. As far as I know, I'm doing everything for E3, which basically means I'm not allowed to sleep for a week. And I'm not very fast typing up stuff. I really am not fast, and it's not exactly my nicest thing in the world. And I'm still learning about all the stuff that actually the industry stuff that's going on. So it's kind of a struggle for me. And now it's like it's like all web content for the week of E3 by the sounds of things, or at least a large percentage of it is being written by me. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion that anything that comes out of E3 that week as well, I'm probably doing just about all of the E3 work for TSSC as well.
Well, but you're all right. You're all right and we'll get on to why you should be all right later on. But I need to introduce the third member of our trio, Kat.
Wow.
Hello.
Hello. I've been coughing in the background.
Wow.
How have you been this last week?
And I've been all right. My life isn't really much more detailed than that.
Do you want to go get a water or something?
Possibly.
Go get a water.
Possibly, but I just finished doing it. Okay.
Everyone has the water.
I can hear that.
Fantastic. We're now doing an actual live radio show, complete with sound effects. Oh.
Okay, and when I get back,
The
I have to begin
submarine
the drawing
keeps
count.
going down.
We all live in a sonic submarine.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get the thing. Okay.
Yep, you go get the
Yep.
thing.
Okay.
I think we drove her away from all the waters.
Quick, where's some coconuts?
Why can't we have Sonic and Co give us coconuts, considering they live on an island?
and then Kat disappeared off on her gallant steed, Jamie. It was a very blowy. There was lots of wind. But then she was lost. But then out of the darkness appeared an old castle. She crept up the gravel path.
I immediately thought you're referring to that game, aren't you?
And knocked 3 times on the door.
There's no place like home.
There was nobody there. She opened the door. And then made that noise because she accidentally opened it into her knee, and that hurt a lot. And then she found the kitchen. See, there is the door again. And she found the water and then came all the way back to her computer. She sat down next to the computer, put her headphones on, and said to her friends the following words.
You were delayed by about 5 seconds there. I can put on my headphones
apparently,
to hear you saying, and then she put on her headphones.
Well,
Okay.
That's my own fault because I forgot that Jamie the horse is actually Jamie the Wonder Horse, and therefore is able to gallop at great speed.
What? What does this have to do with anything?
We continued the. We may have continued. We may have continued the sound effects into a radio play chronicling your journey to get some water.
I think Donnie's dead now. This is what we've done.
I'm good.
A carefree Donnie laugh is a lovely thing to hear, if I may say. It's not really another thing to say. Anyway, so everyone's got water now. So
yeah,
you can cross off everyone has water on your Sonic Boom commentary bingo.
I think we're gonna need it after.
Yeah, we might need it. So Sonic Boom. We'll go through the L Sonic Boom stuff first. I don't know what is L Sonic Boom stuff. It came all the way from Spain. There we go. It's L Sonic Boom. The well-known freedom fighter. Okay, so in terms of the feedback,
you really get any?
Well, we didn't really get the normal amount because the post show obviously at the time of recording this, the post show hasn't gone up. The post show is ready to render, but it is not rendering, so there will be no problems. But there was some feedback, not that much, and there was a piece of feedback. Well, there was a comment at the very least from the 23 show.
Huh?
And it's to do. Did you know that Gurren Lagann stuff?
Yes.
Yep.
There is something related to it, which, because I can't really say that properly, I'm going to ask if Kat can read this.
What do you need me to say?
There's a comment in the chat. Could you read that, please? I'm not even going to try.
Artist Frustrada 1 says, or Artista Frustrada. Oh, there we go. Artista Frustrada 1 says, okay, super late nerdiness. No, a one-to-one figure of Perfect Chaos would not pale in comparison to Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann is Gundam size at best, while Perfect Chaos is larger than buildings. The mech Tanner was thinking of is Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann and Super Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann. In other words, it's going into the specifics of what do you call Gurren Lagann. Well, not specifically this. It's kind of like the what do you call the tornado thing.
Oh. Is it Tails' mecha? It is. Gurren Lagann's not the robot that's like the size of like the universe or whatever it was, is it?
Gurren Lagann eventually leads to that because the whole point of the show just tops itself more and more often. Not like that. The show just goes more and more ridiculous as time goes on, because reasons and because it's awesome.
Right, but
it is the show that does get to the robot the size of the universe, or the robot's bigger than the universe.
Yeah. But one of the things that didn't do was that comment doesn't do is it still doesn't tell us what the supposed Gurren Lagann reference was in that show.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, do you want me to reference like a specific character or a specific episode? Were you tripping over a long word?
We still don't know. We are utterly let down. We were utterly let down by this. Like, whoever it was it Artista Frustrada in the first place? Don't think it was, actually. But what was this supposed reference in episode 23?
What?
People said, oh, was this oh, there was a reference. What fucking was it? If you don't tell us what it is, we don't know.
It's just. It's funny how we said last week, like, tune in next week when we will find out the reference.
Yeah, tune in for the reference. So tune in next week where, well...
we won't know unless someone just happens to tell us. No. Yeah.
Also, I think you neglect that Perfect Chaos was not on the basis of scale. It was based on the scale for a statue for First to Figures. And therefore, taking up the entire space of the Andromeda Galaxy is quite a good chance of that. So that was the one bit of feedback we had that was like out of sync with everything else. So we have no Freiburger feedback this week, and because the post show hasn't gone up yet, we don't have Cat's Art Challenge for this week. From
but you
whoever.
told me to bring things.
Yes, yeah, I told you to bring.
You lied to me.
Give me a minute. You know how I knew there wasn't any Freiburger feedback? I wouldn't have just asked you to bring up the tablet, bring the tablet upstairs if you weren't going to do some drawing. I hope. Because remember, I did say at the end of the last episode I had a backup in the event of. There is always a plan.
Plot twist.
Always.
You're lying.
Even when there isn't a plan, I make it seem like I have one. That in of itself is a plan. Okay, but there is
I suppose it is, but it's a terrible one.
There is a challenge. I'm a terrible person. What do you expect? There is.
You're not a terrible person. I'm a terrible person.
Are we going to argue over who is the most terrible? Or are you going to let me...
Probably. Let's not do this now.
Or are you going to... Yeah, okay, let me just... Instead, let me give you your challenge for this week. I may as well do this now, actually. So, okay, so because there is no Fried Bagel feedback and because we have nobody giving you an art challenge, the backup art challenge, it's not particularly outlandish, but in this week's episode we have a lot more of Sticks.
Yeah.
And on the reveal, or prior to the reveal of Sticks, we believe that the Sticks character would in fact be Marine the raccoon. And
for many reasons.
And she should have been Marine the raccoon, and for them to not do that was a bit stupid. And people can disagree with that all they like. But you have an existing character, and then you make another character that's exactly like it, more or less. Why didn't you just repurpose that character in the first place? So, what I would like you to do, Kat, please, over the course of the pre-show and the post-show, don't do it during the commentary, for goodness sake, is draw.
No, I'm going to.
Draw Sticks and Marine dressed in each other's clothes and arguing over who has possession of the boomerang.
Well then,
I'll repeat that. Sticks the in brackets jungle close brackets badger and Marine the raccoon dressed in each other's clothes and arguing over who has possession of the boomerang because they're both Australian, therefore both own one. So
okay, I'll just tell Elson that.
Yeah, Elson must own a boomerang. I found pretty certain I've seen him wave one around at some Rev Sonic, so it's not...
Seriously, that's pretty great. That's terrifying.
Elson, if you don't know who Elson is Elson Darkspeeds Wong, who's a very good friend, Australian. Mad as a bicycle. It really is. But fantastic artist, by the way. I'm surprised no one's really picked him up for anything more serious so far. Absolutely fantastic. Also, he actually does a series. I don't know if he still does it. Does he still do the audio series of the Archie, of the Sonic Archie comics?
I don't know if he's done one recently, but he did do like an entire. He did do like.
He did
that style presentation. He did for another comic recently.
Yeah. Well, check that out if you get the chance, guys. I mean, the one that sticks in my memory.
Check out Darkspeeds. Do it.
Like the Sonic Universe Silver arc. I remember he did that. Yeah, so find him out. Darkspeeds within the community. Elson Wong is the real name. You'll find him easily enough. But so yeah, that's the argument. But I think Marine did have boomerang, didn't she? At some point, it was like one of her things. I think she's been seeing the comic with one. Who knows? She's a pirate now, so she's probably...
Mostly what I think of is Marine's hair is boomerangs.
Yes, Marine's hair is indeed...
But she's a raccoon from Kansai, apparently, in the original version, so I'm like really confused. Where did the boomerangs come in from?
I don't know, but she was indeed Australian, of course, in Sonic Rush Adventure.
Mysteries.
That was the accent they were trying to go with in the text. If you hadn't noticed, if you hadn't noticed, and she was saying "Struth" and "Blimey," and then she said "bugger," and then the rating went up.
That confused Turbo, didn't it?
Yeah,
Turbo didn't know where half these things were coming from.
Yeah,
and some of it was British.
Yeah, it was. Well, one of the things that if you don't know reason why, the rating for Sonic Rush Adventure in the UK, and I think it was just actually the general PEGI rating, so it'd be the Pan-European Gaming Institute. Look at me all fancy. The PEGI rating for Europe was actually a 12 when it came. I think it was a 12 anyway. I'm pretty damn certain it was. And it was basically a 12 purely because of this one word. So it went for another print, and then they altered the word bugger to something else.
Wow.
And then it went down to a Peggy 3 rating. It went down 2 levels on the rating system just because it took out the word bugger.
Yeah, and if you don't know why that could possibly be, like, okay, so in America, that word genuinely refers to bugs. It doesn't refer to bugs anywhere else that speaks English, really.
No.
Well then.
I don't think we really need to explain the definition or origin of the word bugger, really. It's one of those things. If you don't know what it is, probably...
Google image search.
Oh, God, no. I would instead go and find a dictionary. You can do so at your local library.
Your laptop probably has one.
Yes.
You have no excuse.
What, a library? I suppose it
No,
does.
a dictionary.
Yeah, yes. Your laptop will have a library. It's called iTunes. It's one of those things. And if you have any songs called buggery, you probably don't play them. It's not going to help matters. So yeah. So that's your task then over the course of today, Kat. Other feedback we had included a couple of bits from Robert Lino, who said, "I loved seeing Kat's drawing during those streams," in regard to the old Sonic Show stream. Robert goes on to say, "Spork beats everything." I'm not so sure it does. I mean, we're really going to start breaking Rock Donut Thursday if we start introducing a spork.
No, it's probably the rock paper scissors lizard Spock version, really. Instead of Spock, it's Spork.
See, I remember when I was a kid. Like playing like an expanded version of it, which had fire, water, and crane.
There is a like 20 thing version, I think.
but none of it has Rock Donut Thursday. We should we need to start thinking of like not only do we need to get the rules laid down for Rock Donut Thursday, we
also need all of the hard modes possible.
Yeah. Yes, confirmed for next summer of Sonic. Rock Donut Thursday World Championship, Tuesday World Championship. Was it Tuesday or Thursday?
So I just looked up. So I just looked up bugger.
No, Donnie.
I googled this for the purposes of trying to find out, how complex can it go. Rock, paper, scissors 101. There are 5,050 possible outcomes.
Well then.
Yeah, wrote it Thursday. That was it. Oh, that's right. I don't want to start bringing Tuesday into it. It's not Tuesday's business.
Yeah.
Okay. Alan Denton replied to my tweet. All I can say is Alan Denton made a joke on Twitter which said, "Next week's Sonic Boom episode is very close to my heart because I keep holding the script to my chest." To which I basically responded with, "Alan, no, just no." He's now responded to me with saying, "I'd call this material of mine a dad joke, but that would be offensive to my father."
Kevin, there you go. Just for reference, this is the interactive 101 version chart.
There are no Dalmatians involved. Holy crap.
You are now terrified. Okay, that's done with. Let's get on with the show.
What is the? I'm just going through some of these. Okay, so dynamite, tornado, quicksand, pit, chain, gun, law, whip, sword, rock, death, wall, sun, camera, fire, chainsaw, school, scissors, poison cage, axe, piece, computer, castle, snake, blood, porcupine, vulture, monkey, king, queen, prince, princess, police, woman, baby, man, home, train, car, noise, bicycle, tree, turnip, duck, wolf, cat, bird, fish, spider, cockroach, brain, community, cross, money, vampire, sponge, church, butterbook, paper, cloud, airplane, moon, grass, film, toilet, air, planet, guitar, bowl, cup, beer, rain, water, TV, rainbow, UFO, alien, prayer, mountain, Satan, dragon, diamond, platinum, gold, devil, fence, video game, math, robot, hot, electricity,
lightning, Medusa, power, laser, sky, tank, and helicopter.
Is this how you play rock, paper, scissors in sign language or something? Like, I don't understand.
I think that's... No, but I think rock, paper, scissors has always been kind of a variation of sign language.
To be fair, yeah, it has. Just
wow.
Where did all these gestures come from? How do you even play this?
And what's worse? Okay, pick a number between 1 and 101, Donnie.
Is there so many possible, like...
70.
70 was guitar. Okay.
What
Guitar, apparently.
It gives, like, the list of... I think this is the list of things it beats.
Yeah, I'm just going through... Okay, so...
they all have their own words for it.
Yeah. Guitar subdues dragon. Guitar album goes platinum.
I don't want to do this.
A guitar accompanies whip. What?
What?
Guitar reflects sun. Guitar,
What was guitar again? Which number?
70.
70.
Guitar invokes Satan.
Guitar invokes the devil.
Yes.
According to the page. Guitar rallies against gun.
Guitar cheers tornado victim. What the hell? Okay, let's get away from this.
No, like hippie.
No, I'm sorry.
Or
no.
like somebody doing nice soothing guitar to somebody who's been in shock.
Well, I've tried to click away, and it's just basically I accidentally clicked on death, and most of it is claims. So it's like death claims monkey, death claims tree, death claims bird.
There's not really a better way to phrase that, is there?
Death saddens home. Death not caused by scissors.
Guitar reflects sun.
Death crashes computer.
Guitar pricier than camera.
Death in brackets.
Funeral costs money.
Yeah.
Somebody went too far into this.
Yes. Death ruins
I admire
camera.
it. Death cools blood. That's wow.
Death feeds vulture. Oh, God.
Death saddens community.
Oh God! Right, let's get back to Boom, please.
Yeah, every time.
Community rebukes the devil.
Every time I think I've seen everything, I get proven wrong.
Yeah, that's
pretty great because it's like Community survives tornado.
Well, let's just get away from that because that's
Community hunts vampires.
When I say let's just get away from that, I mean let's not do that anymore.
I'm sorry, you've pulled me into this and I can't get out. It's kind of like that well, except none of you are tails.
Okay, we'll get on to the well later. Zach.
No, I should have been drawing, right?
Zach Beckson, you got time? Zach Beckson says, "I love you guys. You should do a podcast series." Well, thank you very much, and we do. Technically, if you go to sonicboomcommentaries.com, you can listen to the pre-show, the commentary, and the post-show all in one big segment. You can download it on iTunes. You can download it from that website directly via the RSS there, or you can say just listen to it there as a whole. In terms of just general podcasts, you can also look up Radio Redux, which is something I did back in the day. These two appeared on it as well, so at various points.
I appeared in it once.
You appeared in it a couple of times.
Yeah.
Donnie appeared in it more than once. I'm certain
Aye.
you did as well.
Which one were we talking about now?
We're talking about somebody said we should do a podcast.
Oh, and we brought up what was it, Radio Redux?
Yeah, I remember that back in the day. That thing I did for 8 years.
Has it really been 3 years since the last episode aired?
Yeah. Well, was it? Probably.
Probably.
Wow.
At this point.
Jeez, it doesn't feel like it. Like it feels like it just ended yesterday.
Oh god, that took so long to do that series. There we go. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoy it, Zach. The Sonic Show says you are, owing to the issues with the sound, you are now banned from running more than Skype and one browser window to watch the prison carrier footage. You can enforce that by turning up.
No, seriously, Jamie. It's like,
Turn up, guys.
when was the last time me and Jamie spoke?
Never.
Bro,
You've never
bro-
spoken. You've never met each other.
For
In
all
fact,
we know,
we're
they
not-
probably communicated with that game we saw. Who knows?
Oh, but wait a sec. When was the last time you spoke to Jamie? Well, I hope you spoke to him when you were riding him across the plane. Oh, dear.
Yes, obviously. I've got a feeling there's somebody who wouldn't be happy with me doing that.
Layla the Hedgehog said that this episode was so awesome. The KPA 11, was it the Kappa 11? Says it did surprise me that they did. It did surprise me that they didn't do the whole "he's ironically late" ending, as you say. You being Cat, of course, if you remember rightly. They probably should have made it exactly 7 minutes. Going by what you have said, it would have been better. Yeah, it would have been nice if it had, if the timings had matched up properly. It would have been nice.
Oh,
wouldn't it?
that was actually me that mentioned that.
Which, yeah, you mentioned the timings, didn't you? Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mentioned like how when they mentioned that,
Oh
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
wasn't it?
yeah, because I was saying along the lines of I kind of wish when they first say he has 7 minutes left that there was actually 7 minutes left in the episode.
Yeah, and it would have been nice. It would have almost been nice had it been like a sort of a sort of clock or something. It was a bit. Hey, they could have
Well,
done
when they said it, there were 8 minutes left, so they should have just said that there were 8 minutes left.
Yeah, they could
rather
have easily
more
just
than
they could have just redubbed the line and made it work. I mean, actually, one of the other things I've just thought of, they could have easily just done like a 24 parody at that point.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I
definitely.
think that would date this show too much.
Eh.
Eh?
Eh.
Eh.
It would date it older than it is. That kind of dating.
Weren't we talking about like referencing Pac-Man and stuff in previous?
No, Pac-Man's eternal.
Pac-Man is eternal. Maybe we can do a CSI style opening with Knuckles putting on some shades and then saying something stupid and then
LMC Miami.
No, he has to
soon.
say something.
MC Miami. Wait,
No,
you're
no,
good.
no. We
Don-
can already do that
Donnie's
just by
flying
taking
us out
any
to-
of the times he's successfully insulted a person.
Donnie's flying
Because
out.
man knows we're worthy.
Never mind that. Donnie's flying us out to Miami. Apparently, this is fantastic.
LMC
Cat, we're
Miami.
going on holiday.
Well, it is nearly
Oh
summertime.
God,
so-
not again.
Yeah, we're flying all the way to Miami just so we can do a live version of this commentary. Oh, speaking of flight, somebody's been flying today, or rather flying the
Uh-oh.
previous day, because Bill Freiberg is over in France.
How
And-
long will it be
and-
before we get?
Yeah,
How long will it be before we get a full tweet of him speaking in French?
a tweet of him speaking French. Well, no, I'm the one who's allowed to speak French around here.
Oh well.
Well, you know, I'd like to point out the word "speak" is like.
The sounds came out of your mouth.
It's in quotation marks. There's an asterisk, and there's like a very long explanation down at the bottom as to what it actually should be. But yeah, no, he's in France. One presumably he's there to oversee some additional changes to the episodes that are coming up. check in with the production company over in France. He did note that there was no sonic boom. There's slightly more over there than there is over here. Bill, is what we'll say to that.
They're ahead by 7 weeks, so I mean,
in fact, if Bill's over in France, and he needs sonic boom, he's more likely in the building where it's made. He could probably just open a drawer and find some.
He just opens a drawer. Suddenly, mountains of sonic boom just like spills out.
Yeah, piles and piles just explode out in all directions.
It's
a tidal wave. It's a tidal wave rocking through the building.
You just see plushies of
some kind of Shining parody happens.
You just see plushies of cute penguins in sweaters just come out of the drawer.
No, everybody's wearing them. That's like the uniform of the entire operation.
It seems to be implying that their staff is penguins.
Can we get from the series box set? Can we get one of those T-shirts as like a collector's edition bonus? That would be great.
A rare super special
fuzzy
edition
penguins.
EX. Yeah,
they're the fuzzy penguins.
Fuzzy penguin with sweater.
You know what it's like actually. You know in Harry Potter, where they're in Lestrange's vault, and they're trying to get the Horcrux, and there's like the multiplication spell on everything, and then it all goes wrong, and then all the treasure starts multiplying. It's just like this, and then it just like becomes this wave that's trying to just like practically living treasure that's trying to kill them, just because there's so much. It's just raining down. It's just like that up there, but with just Sonic Boom. It's like Sonic Boom scripts and episode tapes and everything.
I'm not drawing that.
No, and then it goes out into the streets and down and through the streets, carrying people away. And then this wave of Sonic Boom, people crying, "No, dear God, I wanted to watch."
Why do we keep doing this to France?
Why is this happening to us?
Why do we keep destroying France?
Why did this?
Why hate France so much? They give us
why does Sonic Boom keep destroying France in our in our show? But then it's okay because they get saved by this dam made of poutine. It's fine, and all is well. All is well. The chips and gravy and curds are all congeal together to save everybody, and all is well. And it's Sonic Boom for everybody, except everyone else who doesn't have it yet. And all is well. We'll get back to away from this flight of fancy now.
UK, give them boom.
Like I say, we've got the toys now. We're not giving them back to anyone.
I haven't got the toys.
We have all the toys.
Well, somebody has all the toys. Probably Adam. Adam has all the toys.
He probably turned them all into hats.
Adam, you know what T-Bird probably did? He probably did the equivalent of the oil of the tanker raid in like Fast and Furious 5 or whatever it was. No, it's Fast and Furious 4, whatever it was.
Where I have no idea what this means.
Where I'm just like T-Bird, just like dressed up and driving some sort of black car just to try and hijack this truck full of merchandise, hook it up to his own car and drive away.
That's not canon?
It probably is canon, we just don't know anything about it because T-Bird's that awesome.
He knows science.
He does do science. He's a doctor. He's a doctor of advanced science. All the science.
Super science.
Robert also says, this is a very enjoyable episode. A big reason why is because I went for a very similar day. Just replaced badniks with teenagers and layers with thrown pennies.
Well then.
Questions? Many questions? Plus Knuckles was more fun here than in the last two episodes. Overall, had a good time watching. The KPK then goes on to say, in direct response to that, I would say it's a good way to test patience, but then again, the other episodes have done that already and have had a better balance or balance enough. So that's all the feedback we had, basically. And the various comments. There's comments and posers and everything else under the sun. So, things that have happened is that Sega is not going to E3.
For reasons.
For reasons of...
More specifically, they don't have a booth there. They did say they will be collaborating with them there, but...
They're collaborators, and they're going to put it against the wall and shot.
With various business partners they have.
Yeah, with business partners. Oh dear. Does this mean that they're going to go to where the Samsung booth is and just like show off Sonic 4 Episode 2 running on their tablets again, like they did that time? Come over here and watch Sonic Episode 4, Sonic 4 Episode 2 rather, and
Episode 4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to say about that. Whoops. They axed Episode 3, and they're bringing you Episode 4.
Boy, that's all. That's a new. Like even Valve can't compete with that. Like everyone says they can't count to 3. How about just skipping 3 entirely and pretending that number doesn't even exist?
2.25 is what it's going to be. 2.2.5. There we go. That's what it's going to be. But yeah, so they're not going to be there, which means the likelihood of us getting another Boom game has decreased rather a lot.
Yep.
But also, the likelihood of there being a Christmas Sonic has gone down a lot as well. Which isn't unusual because that's where they make an awful lot of money.
They've never really said we're not announcing anything, but they did say a lot of they want to kind of reserve announcements until later on. But yeah, they didn't exactly. I wouldn't say they were vague, but they weren't exactly. They didn't explain things properly, I don't think. There's still plenty of questions about what they're doing. But
yeah, it's yeah. But
we know they won't have a booth, though. Sorry.
They won't have a booth.
Nope. First time I think that's been the case ever.
First time ever at E3. There's no Sega booth. I think it wasn't like the first one where like Sega had like half of it. Had half the floor.
I do believe they helped found the original E3, like back in 1995, 1996, when they were showing off the Sega Saturn and stuff.
Yeah, back in the day.
Man, I think it was at E3 as well when they announced that, hey guys, the Sega Saturn's out now.
Whatever happened to the Sega Saturn? Anyway.
They didn't make a Sonic game for it. And it was considered a bad move not to make a Sonic game then.
Or did they?
Or did they?
Dun, dun, dun.
No. Oh, they actually did try to make a Sonic game for the Sega Saturn.
To the extreme! And they failed. To the extreme!
Yeah, it just never got released, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's another story that's going on at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Are people still talking about Sonic Extreme?
Again, another build went out the other day. A different build has escaped from wherever it was that it was kept, and there's now it was like a different version or different hardware version or something.
It was a version that was built inside Sonic what they have, and it was something that we hadn't actually seen before. I don't think it was something that definitely looked more developed as well. Like it was closer to its eventual release at the time, but yeah, there's been a lot of extreme details coming out now that we've actually seen the game and all. So
what, the details are about extreme, or the details are extreme?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I had thought.
So, I will now fling this pre-show over to our good friend Donnie.
Hi.
Because you have been very busy this afternoon, in fact, writing up some interesting information in regards to Sonic Boom, haven't you?
Yeah, but like basically what's happening is there's something that hasn't really been talked about a lot about Boom, and it's something that I noticed that it gets very, very ignored in the Sonic community. Like no one really does articles on it. No one really talks about it. The ratings. We've actually been getting the ratings for Boom every now and then. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the chart I've been making because for those who aren't already aware, next week is supposed to be the halfway mark of the Boom episodes. As of next week, there will be 26 episodes of Boom that have aired, and that's halfway done out of the original 52 episodes that are supposed to make up season 1. Yeah. And as a result, I figured
if you paid attention to other sources, I think we'd probably be on about season 3 by now.
Yeah,
we're still on season 1, guys.
Yeah, they still consider it season 1. It was the original order, in fact, back when we first heard about it. But they do have it set up so episode 26 is supposed to be next week, Cartoon Network. And if everything goes according to plan, like if they continue this trend of 1 episode per week, I don't know if there's gonna be a summer hiatus. I know they did a winter one, and I'm gonna get more on that soon because that's partly to blame for why the U.S. is behind, but compared to France. But there won't be an end to the season until November 7th. It's gonna take another 6 months for us to get through Sonic Boom season 1. But back to the ratings, I did find out. I'll get a nice handy little chart, nice little table of all the ratings data we know so far. You know, percentage gains, ratings numbers for the adult demographic, and I combined them all into one nice little chart. This was horrible to make because I'm not used to doing charts in WordPress, but I did actually manage to make a chart, and it contains all the data necessary, everything that we know so far. All the episodes, their plot synopsis, the premiere date, the episode number, everything. And as it turns out, we don't know a whole lot about the ratings. Like, I'd say a third of the episodes have aired so far. Maybe half of them, half of the 26 or so, we know the ratings to. At the very least, some kind of percentages. But it depends largely on what TV by the Numbers gives us, and that's the source that I've been going by for ratings information and all that, because they get it directly from the source, and that's from the people behind Cartoon Network, you know, Turner, and they have been really interesting. The ratings, I don't think people realize this, but for what it's worth, Boom is doing absolutely amazing ratings wise. I'm not even I'm still looking at the ratings now. Even though they've been going up and down as of late, they've been absolutely fantastic. I honestly say this much: it is very close to rivaling whatever, being like the rival to Teen Titans Go and regular show and stuff in terms of ratings. They're very close to that, that range that those shows have. For example, we have the episode Eggheads, where Eggman turned Amy, Sticks, Tails, and Knuckles into evil clones of himself. That episode got 1 million views.
Nice.
And I should clarify, that doesn't even count kids. This is adult views. That's 1 million adults that watch the show. That same episode, as for kids, I should note, the percentages tend to be where they give us any information about kids. And those demographics are for kids 6 to 11 or 9 to 14, and boys 6 to 11 and 9 to 14. And those are generally based on the previous games from that time slot last year. So Saturday, December 6, 2014 is when this episode aired. That same date, but in 2013, so December 6, 2013 is what they were comparing it to. Either that or that December 7th, 2013, which was on that same Saturday. But either way, it's that same time last year, and it got number 1 every even. It never ceases to amaze me how the last percentages we got was for Aim Low, and every time we got information, it was always about the show being number one. Like, and it helps that the show always, it's a show that takes place before Pokemon X and Y. It's a show that I'd say it's more popular than Boom, but honestly, Pokemon and Boom are both getting very close ratings with each other. I'm not even kidding how close they like. It I can't understand just how the show is just doing this well. It's like
Pokemon's in a later in a more friendly time slot, isn't it?
Pokemon X and Y takes place at 8 a.m. and Boom takes place at 7 a.m. over here in the
so
East
that
Coast.
would be a more sort of kid friendly time
slot
for 8 o'clock rather than 7.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me most of all is that even reruns of this show. Like, let me give you the the ratings high for this show.
Yeah, how about you because I know that the guys listening will know this. Give us like what the top episode and the worst performing episode, and then did the reruns. So what was the top performing episode in the series so far?
Okay, the top episode that has aired that was the top premiere episode, because believe it or not, the ratings high wasn't a premiere.
That doesn't surprise at all, actually. So on that, okay, so probably best tell us the second episode as well then, because
the second ratings high was Aim Low, which is where we were introduced to Soar the Eagle. That episode get this. For a 7 a.m. time slot, for a show that has barely even been promoted by Cartoon Network, it got 1,175,000 adult views.
Damn.
And this is for a show that, like I said, hasn't really been promoted by Cartoon Network, is in a very awkward time slot, has had the cloud of the games over its head.
Has had the thing that was supposed to act as its run-in be an absolute disaster.
Yeah, and still managed to get nearly 1,200,000 views. Like, I don't understand why some people call this a failure. When you think about it, the way the situation this show has been in, that is downright impressive. Like, that is, I'd have to give a huge props to the people at Cartoon Network and to the show crew and everyone for just a job well done in managing this to happen. Like, I'm very shocked at this, and even now I can only imagine, like, even the low point of the show, like the lowest ratings it's gotten.
What was the lowest rating? What episode?
The lowest rated was Let's Play Musical Friends, and that
really?
was
actually
yeah, that the lowest rated was just recent, just within the past couple of weeks, and that was 829,000. So even the lowest rated isn't really that bad.
Is the next lowest the episode before that?
No, we didn't actually get any information about that. The problem about the ratings is that the people like Turner tend to give their information whenever they damn well please. Sometimes they'll give us percentages, sometimes they'll give us rating numbers, sometimes they'll give us both, and sometimes they're just like, you know what? No.
Do you know what the kids total was for AIMLO? Just out of curiosity, because I've said this before in previous, in that if it's all very well and good that it's getting an audience of adults, but that's kind of not what it's for, and Boom, where Boom could fail, is if actually it fails to get the audience it's actually trying to get. It's not trying to get the adult audience. So what's the total for the best episode for kids?
Well, based on what we know, like, we don't actually have any numbers for kids. They tend to give the ratings numbers for adults. But for kids, we do have percentage gains. And that's what I was talking about earlier with the, let me see what they call it, year-to-year gains.
Okay.
And they usually kind of summarize it based on the blocks and all. Like, for example, I'm looking at the one for Aim Low right now, and they said like they'll have it as Saturday morning saw year-to-year gains, and usually they consider Saturday morning as the few hours like it's basically around the Saturday morning cartoon block we'd have. Um, and they have it as this is for aim low, as I said. Saturday morning saw year-to-year gains across all key kids and boys, ranging from plus 20% to plus 52%. So, and this isn't even like this was just recent, and the numbers have just been gains, like percentage gains every week for kids. For example, the premiere episode of Boom, which was episode 1 and 2. The Sidekick and Can an Evil Genius Crash on Your Couch for few weeks? Those, like the year-to-year gains for that, for kids, were 52%, and this is a range, 52% to 132%. And then it had a similar for episode 3 and 4, which was Translate This and Buster, which was the range of 35% to 142%. And it just kept these percentages kept going, and even up to Eggheads, which was the last like consecutive ratings like year-to-year gain percentage gain. Even then, it was like 1% to 52%. So even then, like even though the percentages were going down, the show was still getting like gains constantly, and that's pretty much all we do know about kids. Unfortunately, I thought we had a little bit more information about kids with the rerun. The ratings high because I thought that was at the time we didn't have the red notice that TV by the Numbers gives that tells us okay, this is for adults only.
Yeah.
But the highest episode to have a rating so far, this is based on what we know, was during the winter hiatus when they went for 5 weeks and did not show any new episodes. From Saturday, December 13th to Saturday, January 10th, we did not get a single Boom episode. It wasn't until January 17th that we got one. But on the very first week of the winter hiatus, this is when they started airing multiple airings of Boom in one day and stuff like that. To kind of, I guess they wanted to experiment at the time, Cartoon Network. Mm-hmm. And this is just a rerun. And this episode got 1,420,000. So that was 1.4 million views. Nearly 1.5 million.
What do we know what time slot that was in? Does it say?
The 7 a.m. one.
Oh, so it was still 7 a.m. and they got one.
Yep.
Wow.
They all apply to just 7 a.m. because that's the premiere time slot. That's the time slot where everyone's focused in, and it's the ones that obviously the people the people running the channels and all care about because that's where they're trying to promote the show and
Wow.
And it just goes from there. Like occasionally it has its downsides. Like it during March Madness, it had a little bit of a drop in ratings for obvious reasons because college basketball is really huge here. But even then, like as soon as it ended, like the first ratings we got after March Madness, it bounced right back up to past 1 million again. It's obvious that the show's keeping like its niche going and like it's got a pattern. People are continuing to watch this, and it shows. Like occasionally, like I said, it has a droppage, but it just bounces right back up, and it's just been doing this for weeks now. I can't get over how well the show is doing ratings wise, and I'm really surprised at how no one is reporting on this more.
It is. I mean, in fairness to the community, I mean, the community as a whole, unless it's like posted somewhere in the likes of the SSMB, it isn't really talked about anywhere apart from on TSSZ, which has always had that more wide-ranging sort of overview of things. I mean, the covering of the Archie trial was all them. I know Tristan did a ridiculous amount of work. It was very impressive when covering that, and it is that sort of thing that if TSSZ doesn't cover, no one would. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing the complete breakdown, Donnie's put it up. It's on tssnews.com or .com, aren't you, Donnie?
Yeah, it says TSSC. It's
TSSCnews.com. Well, the few who is a .com actually.
Yeah,
it was like .org.
Or in Sonic Paradox's case, .net.
Yeah. Very
Like-
very few .coms in the community, which is interesting. Actually, it would be it's strange why that would be. Sega Bits and Sega Driven.com, Weird.com, Rexwas.com, SonicStadiums.org, Sonic Retro.
I think another
.org.
I think another reason why the Sonic, like a lot of the Sonic community websites don't generally like cover stuff like this. Sonic Stadium is more geared towards the big Sonic news when something huge happens. Sonic Retro is more geared towards like the fan stuff, like modding and all that.
Yeah.
Sega Bits and Sega Driven.
It's the break of the different communities, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, like a lot of the Sonic community fan sites, the big ones, generally tend to focus on certain thing that they know people will flock to, because that's something that appeals to them, and that their little, I guess I don't know if I would say demographic, but their interest. TSSC, on the other hand, tends to branch out completely, and we just go all over the place.
You're more the business of making, perhaps than anywhere else. You're like the business of making. Stadium is like the practicality of making, and Retro is like the ins and outs of making, if you like. So
yeah.
It's, so like what one's like so you're the business. Stadium is the process, and Retro is the creative. There we go.
Yeah.
Nice breakdown.
Like it's I can understand why that's their thing, because they're known for that kind of thing. So would it be kind of silly to stray too far from that? But in TSSC's case, we don't really we just go all out. We don't have any boundaries. If people have known about it in the past, of course, I've only been around for the TSSC team since September, so I haven't really...
Johnny, nonsense. You've been around forever.
I know. I've been for TSSC, it's since September, but for the Sonic community, it's been since 2008.
What you guys don't know is that the World Wide Web was actually created when Tim Berners-Lee discovered Donnie in a shed. that was how it was actually created. It was just always there, just waiting, and it just turned out that hiding under a pot plant was Donnie, and then the World Wide Web was born.
Because he was inspired by the beard, because it looked like a web.
Yeah, it was like a tangle. It was like, ooh, what if? Like each hair follicle touched each other, and it was like, "Oh, what if computers could do the same thing?"
The Worldwide Dawn.
Yes.
Okay, so I tuned out and then I'm back again. And what is this?
It's Donnie.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
So if you're interested, guys and girls, check out TSSZ News for that, for the full breakdown, and see for yourself where it is that Boom is going. I did want to touch on something else in relation to that, to whether or not quote unquote Boom has been a success, because I came across it a couple of weeks ago and I thought it was a really stupid thing to say. But we'll pass on that. So Mr. Frost gets another pass for another week.
It's what I think it is, isn't it?
It's in relation to Sonic Boom has been the quote. Sonic Boom is a licensing success.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the cartoon is.
Yeah. Well, it was like that is some kind of shock and surprise that would happen.
Yeah.
I could go on a massive tangent about that, about what a stupid thing that is to say,
but we have an episode to watch and something for me to finish drawing.
Yes, we have an episode to watch. It was a huge pre-show, but there's some really interesting stuff that we went through, and you also had an audio play.
We really didn't.
I didn't have an audio play. I was in it apparently.
You my Dear Catherine, you are the star. The star.
I don't think we.
Are you pretending to be somebody? Because I can't tell.
I'm pretending to be me, something I'm not very good at.
I do think it was really good to touch upon the ratings, though, because it's something that no one really has talked about.
And at the end of the day, you know, there is still the question up in the air as to whether or not there will be a season 2. I would imagine there's a number of factors involved. For example, you know, cost is a thing.
Sega was looking for hiring a position related to promoting the show, and not too long ago.
Yeah, which does beg the question why they didn't before. You know, when it would have been more useful.
I guess they were thinking, you know what? Let's wait to see how the cartoon does. Like
That's
initially,
not how business works.
I know, but it's Sega, so who knows?
Only Sega would say, "Hey, we've got this fantastic new, you know, big, massive brand experience, brand expansion, whole new branch of our main flagship series. Let's just sit back and wait and see what happens." Oh my god! And you're right, that is such a Sega thing to do. Like, somehow it will just happen. Anyway, sorry. So today's episode apparently was done a while back. In terms of recording, I believe Mr. Pollock actually.
It's a combination of Alan and Mike that revealed it.
You can, of course, follow Mike Pollock on Twitter at It's a Mike, and you can see all his general stuff that he tweets. It's funny stuff. It's promotional stuff.
Yep.
Let me see.
You occasionally find out about his one blog where he makes jokes about dead people.
Yeah. January the 28th, 2014.
Was when this episode was initially recorded.
Yes, when this was initially recorded, so nearly, 16 months ago then.
Yep.
Long time ago. Which in a way is also slightly worrying, because if they do go for a season 2, how long is it going to take them to make one?
I think it's going to depend largely on how many episodes are ordered. Sometimes they'll order like 5, 10. Sometimes they'll order 20. Depends.
I mean, the good thing is that they would have a lot less in terms of needing to make stuff, because they've got the sets and the characters already designed and locked down. But perhaps we'll go back to this in the post show. But today's episode is called Into the Wilderness.
Oh boy, what an episode it was.
And as episode as you will see or hear if you're listening on the podcast version. Does everybody have their episode courtesy of the pigeon that wasn't stopped by Bill Freiberger in Fire? and his anti-pigeon air force that he has in France?
Well, considering I'm looking at Sonic staring into my soul again, I'd say yes, I do have it.
Cat?
Give me a second. Sonic? Sonic is never my carrier pigeon, by the way.
Sonic on the screen. Sonic on the screen.
Oi!
They made a vow, their pigeon will be found.
Duck.
Okay.
I think she found it.
She found it. By golly, she's found it. Okay, so
yes.
Episode 25.
That's by Jove.
No, that's...
If you start a sentence with a by something, it has to be by Jove.
By Jove, she's right.
See?
I am sorry.
I have no idea.
Right. Episode 25. Episode 25. Into the Wilderness begins in 3, 2, 1. Wait.